Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here today to speak at this Earth Day celebration. As mentioned, I cover the clean tech sector at the province's Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, and I work with companies to help them grow in the province. So it's a great sector to be involved in as it's growing faster than other areas of our economy. McKinsey estimates that the global market for clean tech is over 9 trillion annually. This is a result of countries and also companies setting net zero targets and cleaning up their supply chains. There's a lot of opportunity for Ontario companies to meet this global demand. Stats Canada has recently done a lot of work to define and measure and track this sector so that we understand what's happening with it. And Ontario is leading in many of these subsectors of clean tech. We have leading companies developing groundbreaking technologies in all of the subsectors listed. The transportation subsector has been in the spotlight recently. You may have heard of the recent large investments into EV manufacturing and developing a battery supply chain in the province. More than 16 billion in investment. A lot is happening with a lot of investment into energy transition. So what is the province doing to help grow the clean tech sector? We have several plans and strategies, a few of which I'm going to mention today, to help grow the sector, including our environmental plan, which is an overarching plan and focuses on actions in the following areas: air, lakes, and rivers, protecting them, addressing climate change, reducing litter and waste in our communities, and keeping our land and soil clean. It also looks at land and conserving land and green space as well. So our environment plan is an all-encompassing plan that provides opportunities in many areas of clean tech. You can find this plan online. It was released in 2018, and we are regularly publishing updates on what the province has achieved in this plan. So since the topic of today's event is energy transition, I want to talk about what Ontario is doing in this area. Ontario has actually been a leader in energy transition. We started about 20 years ago working to eliminate coal from our electricity system, which was completed around 10 years ago in 2013, a huge accomplishment. We added wind, solar biomass, and more hydropower to replace the coal. The only dirty part of our electricity system now is our natural gas capacity, but we're using that mostly for peaking, those hot summer days when everyone has their AC on. So in recent years, we have used less than 10% natural gas, making our electricity system very clean. And as you can see, most of our solar is on rooftops, so connected to the distribution system rather than the transmission system. We are also leading in wind and solar installed capacity across Canada. Our electricity system continues to change and is undergoing rapid change right now. Due to people starting to adopt EVs in greater quantities, refurbishment of our nuclear plants, our greenhouse industry expanding, and some of our steel manufacturers electrifying their operations, we are going to need more electricity soon. That's not what we thought a few years ago, so things are changing rapidly. So the IESO, the Independent Electricity System Operator, is procuring more electricity, some energy storage, some gas plants, and some other generation very quickly. The IESO is also investing in save on energy programs to incent businesses to reduce electricity consumption, because increasing energy efficiency or conservation is the cheapest way to add capacity to our system. The transition to EVs creates business opportunities for the sector. Myself, I know my house needed residential electrical panel upgrade. Transformers in residential locations will be needed to upgrade if everyone's adopting EVs. And there is also the opportunity for consumers to use this new giant battery for their own backup power needs. So there's a lot of work to be done. The government recognizes that there's a large role for innovation in the electricity sector. So recently posted for comment a proposal to relax some of the requirements for pilots and demonstration projects to allow innovation to be tested in our electricity system. So even though in the short term we're going to have new natural gas, we're also looking at how to decarbonize the system and meet the federal targets for net zero by 2035, net zero electricity system by 2035. The IESO recently published a report looking at how we could decarbonize. And there's a new electrification and energy transition panel that will advise the government on opportunities for the energy sector to help Ontario's economy transition to net zero. The goal of this panel is to enable investment, job creation, and skills development in Ontario by keeping energy rates low and also creating a predictable and competitive investment environment. Investors want to know what's happening with their electricity. Clean generation is also another area, such as untapped water power that could have potential in Ontario as well. The province recognizes that companies would like to be able to use 100% clean electricity, and their shareholders may be asking for that. So it's developed a new voluntary clean energy registry. This is a mechanism for companies to meet their clean electricity goals simply by buying clean energy credits to replace that natural gas in our system. This program just started recently. So things like the costs of these clean energy credits are still being determined. Companies can choose to buy a clean energy credit of a particular technology as well, which is a great feature. And so far, there have been a few public announcements. Microsoft has already announced last year that they would be buying credits from Ontario Power Generation. So green or low carbon hydrogen has been a hot global topic, with over 30 countries having strategies to develop the hydrogen economy. The Canadian federal government also has developed a strategy. As Ontario has a history of innovative companies in this area developing hydrogen technologies, we also published a strategy last year. We have several low carbon hydrogen projects already taking place in the province. There's a Markham power to gas facility, which was North America's first multi-megawatt facility. And now Enbridge is taking that hydrogen and blending it into a natural gas pipeline in Markham so that people can use that for heating their homes. Companies like Canadian Tire are already making low carbon hydrogen at their distribution centers to fuel forklifts. So it was natural that Ontario took a serious look at growing the hydrogen economy. The province is also interested in developing other new areas of clean tech that are needed by heavy industry to decarbonize. This strategy leverages the province's strengths, including a highly skilled workforce, clean and affordable electricity, existing potential storage locations and pipeline infrastructure, and an innovative industrial sector that is ready to collaborate on this and create potential hydrogen hubs. The plan outlines immediate actions, including hydrogen production projects and a new electricity option for hydrogen projects. The strategy will position the province as a clean manufacturing and transportation hub of the future. The IESO recently opened a funding program for hydrogen projects that would benefit the electricity grid. So that's open right now. It's our hope that this fund will assist these projects to move forward because this is such a new area. We see great opportunities for hydrogen to be used by the steel and chemical industries and the creation of local hubs in those areas where the generation of hydrogen would serve multiple customers. Another area of opportunity for Ontario is forest biomass. In the north, as you know, there's a lot of forested areas, and those are untapped resources that have the opportunity to be developed, especially their waste products. So there's a lot of work being done by the government to understand new potential markets for forest biomass. One example is using waste forest biomass to make graphite, which would be used in the EV battery supply chain. So keep an eye on this sector. There's lots of growth potential here. Another area where the province is doing some work is looking at how we could enable carbon capture and storage. Typically, you don't think of Ontario as a location for CCS, but there are actually some favorable geological sites in the province under Lake Erie and Lake Huron that could work. The province is working on updating existing regulations that may prevent CCS and developing a framework to guide those projects. I want to mention that the province has many great clean tech institutes, just some of which are shown here, doing leading research in various areas of clean tech. There are many funding programs mainly by the federal government that can be utilized when doing research with these institutions. So I encourage you to explore that option. As clean tech is a very broad area, there are quite a few different industry associations that follow various subsectors. They are very useful to get involved with to grow your network and keep on top of what's happening in the sector, and also advocate for change in your sector. I also want to mention that while there are many accelerators in the province to help small companies and entrepreneurs, there are a few specifically focused on clean tech. There's Mars Clean Tech and also Foresight Canada, which has recently expanded to Ontario. And there's a new facility for clean tech companies at Clean Tech Commons at Trent University. And the Clean Energy Zone at at Metropolitan University is specific to energy-related technologies. So how can the ministry help your company grow its business in Ontario? So people like me can provide sector information such as policy strategies that the government is working on to help grow your business. I also have colleagues that are experts in other sectors such as auto, life sciences, ICT, advanced manufacturing, aerospace, the list goes on. We cover most of the hot sectors. In addition to sector information, we can also point you to programs that may be useful for your project and help you make connections to any other areas of government, so within the province and also federal and municipal. Basically, just ask us anything and we'll try and help you. We also have a division of the ministry that provides trade services. So they can provide you information on different markets. They routinely do workshops teaching you how to export to different regions of the world and provide information on those markets. They have a trade calendar, which shows you what events they are going to and who is responsible for those regions as well. We also have a business advisory service, and these are people located across the province, and they support small and medium-sized businesses with anything that they can do to help you. They help you apply to funding programs. And if you are planning to apply to the ministry's regional programs, we have 2 programs, the Southwestern or Eastern Ontario Development Fund or the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation and Competitiveness Fund. They can help you apply to those programs. They can also connect you to other agencies with programs as well. They help you assess strengths and weaknesses in your business as well. They help you do business with the government, and they can help you understand government regulations and perhaps compliance challenges as well. In addition, they can help connect you to local partners within their region and facilitate those discussions. Our ministry also works closely with the Ministry of Red Tape Reduction. That's a big focus of this government. And it's really important, I think, for the energy transition. There's a lot of outdated regulations and codes and standards which can prevent new technology to be adopted. So some of these need modernization. There is a red tape portal online, and I encourage you to use that and submit your suggestions to that portal so that the government is aware of the problems out there. We can't fix something that we don't know is broken. We also work closely with Invest Ontario, which you're going to hear from next. And that's it. And I encourage you to connect with me or contact me in the future if I can help your business grow. Thank you.